Hello, everyone, and welcome into Devil's Digest TV. I'm Adam Beadle, joined by publisher Hode Rubino, recapping ASU's first week of fall camp. We're here under the lights in Mountain America Stadium. And Hode, let's just start with tonight in general. What were your big takeaways?
Yeah, I think basically the physicality that we expected to see ever since the shoulder pads came on yesterday definitely continued today. I thought from the offense it was more or less a cleaner performance. Kenny Dillingham talked about the quarterbacks not having any interceptions, and I just felt that overall the offense did run quite smoothly. That doesn't mean the defense was taking a step back or anything. I just feel that especially the secondary is doing a very, very good job contesting a lot of passes. We talked so much about this wide receiver group being much better collectively than it was last year. And I think that even though fall camp is kind of early, we've seen this wide receiver group, I think, really shine more in the spring than they have so far in fall camp. It's still very early. It's just 4 practices in. Next week, they're going to go full pads. We'll see the physicality ramp up even more. So it's not that we can't really have an opinion about the running game, but I think it's been kind of hot and cold in some respects. I think the run defense, which a lot of people did have concern about, I think actually performed pretty well so far in fall camp. But again, I think the real test in terms of the overall physicality on both sides of the ball is going to come next week when you see full pads.
Kenny talked a lot post-practice today. He likes the balance of the team, and he especially likes the care level of the team. Have those things been apparent to you through the first couple days of practice?
Yeah, absolutely. I think practice was a little lively today. Let's leave it
a little
at
bit
that.
Like that.
But when you see it being lively, then it really you show that the players really do care for each other. I asked Kenny after practice when you have 40 plus newcomers. Does the bonding activities up at Camp Donizona maybe change up a little compared to last year when he had so many returning players? And he said basically not, because he feels that the care level and the cohesiveness of the team is just night and day from spring practice to fall camp. So I think that really is a good sign. In terms of the balance, I think that's going to be very important, because balance is not only talent, it's also depth. We talked a lot, and I know we're going to talk a lot in the future, 9 straight weeks after that bye week following the game in London against Kansas. So if you have the depth, if you have the balance, and the cohesiveness was always an important X factor, that can really help you in a very, very tough stretch. But it's really good to see, and I know we talked about this a lot, no matter how many newcomers you have on the team, and it's really close to 4 dozen at this point, that everybody just really buys in from day one. And I think just the way ASU marketed itself to transfers, to freshmen, I think is really paying dividends. There's a lot of not only talented transfers, but a lot of freshmen on this team. Now that you got the 5-for-5 rule, there's really no redshirt in effect anymore, and we're going to see a lot of freshmen play, but not because ASU is able to play them because of this new legalities, just because you have that much talent on the team, even from the 2026 class.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about the topic that I think everybody wants to know about, and that is the quarterback battle. What have been your impressions of that battle this week? Obviously, it kind of feels like each of the guys has their own little thing that maybe they excel at, and maybe you look at it and be like, that could be an area they might want to, maybe they could work on.
Yeah, I mean, still early in fall camp, but I think it's fair to say that possibly Cutter Boley, Mikey Keene are maybe emerging right now, and I stress right now, as the 2-man battle for the starting quarterback position. If you ask me what kind of skills I see from each player, from Cutter Boley, obviously being a 6'5" quarterback, really, having a strong arm is not going to be an issue at all. But he also has a quick release to follow with that. I've said it a million times, I'll say it more. I think his mobility, especially for a 6'5" signal caller, is very underrated. When he needs to get out of the pocket, throw off platform, or just move the chains with his feet, he's able to do that quite well. Mikey Keene is basically the savvy veteran operator.
Commander.
Commander, yeah. That's a great word. Not flashy with his throws. Maybe he doesn't really get out of the pocket so much, but in terms of operating efficiently, I think that's what Mikey Keene does really well. Jake Fetty definitely shows that he's not a freshman, but maybe there's some moments where you just feel like the experience factor, there is that natural lag, and that's nothing against Fetty by any means, but just it's a freshman that has only been on campus for 8 months, and there's going to be some kind of tuition to be paid, if you will, with the learning curve. When it comes to that, I think Cam Dyer had some flashes here and there, but again, if I'm just being honest, I just feel that Bowley and Keeney just separating themselves ever so much from the rest of the pack. You and I talked earlier today. I think that by the end of Camp Donizona, a week from now, pretty much we're going to know what this ASU team is going to be all about. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of surprises, good or bad, from let's say August 15th until the season opener on September 5th. So I'm curious to see that quarterback battle takes a little different shape. But right now, that's how I see that battle. I know you guys are really interested, and we're going to keep on reporting more and more on this position battle. That's for sure.
I think there's a couple things that have been consistent. You look at the first team, I should say, offensive line that we've reported the last couple of days in particular.
Yeah.
Westbrooks, Stewart, Tana, Helton, and then Clem on right tackle. And then I think also another group defensively that's been particularly solid has been the linebackers as well, as Iris Fiaseyu, Owen Long, obviously. Kenny even shouted out Prairie Young Blackgoat. Martell Hughes is another group. Looking at the secondary, because that's kind of the group that there was a lot of sort of uncertainties with how they were all going to gel together this spring. They looked pretty impressive, and through the first 4 days of fall camp, they've seemed to have formed really well and have a good connection and look like they're going to pick up kind of where ASU left off last season.
Yeah, I mean, I want everybody to rest easy. I mean, maybe because we're not in our practice reports talking about Omarion Miller or Reed Havish just scoring 60, 70-yard touchdowns on the regular, although Omarion Miller did have that the other day.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean the wide receiver is really taking a step back from spring. I think the secondary is really, really playing well. To your point, we always talk about every beginning of fall camp, college pros, defense ahead of the offense. That is definitely taking place right now. That's something to keep in mind. But yeah, I mean, I really like the makeup of not only the first team, but the second team. And again, that goes back to how important this depth is going to be for a team that's going to have, before you know it, 9 straight weeks of football. But you touched on the offensive line. I think there's some battles that's still to be had over there. Jermaine Mitchell, who was really held back in spring because of injury, is able to practice now fully in fall camp, and we're seeing him take some first-team reps at left tackle, really start coming into the zone. Let's not forget a guy, not only the number 1 offensive tackle in the junior college class of 26, but the number 1 player overall. And we are definitely seeing that. So if Champ Westbrooks is going to win that position battle, and I'm not saying it can't happen, that is going to be quite an accomplishment because Jermaine Mitchell is really giving him all he can handle. But Champ Brooks, I think, is really a swing tackle. He can also play right tackle. And now it's a matter of, okay, is he going to beat Jalen Clem? Is he going to beat Luke Baklenko? I wouldn't put it past him at all. But I think that overall, the depth we're seeing on the offensive line is really impressive. The Lupano cousins, they're not brothers, they're cousins, really playing well at guard, both of them contending for both right and left guard. But I think the offensive line is really taking more and more shape. Again, I feel a week from today, we're pretty much going to know what the first and second team is going to look like on the offensive line.
As the ASU heads into its second week of fall camp and Camp T, is there anything in particular that you think is, you still want to see out of ASU maybe?
Well, I mean, we didn't talk special teams, and I think special teams have really been a pleasant surprise of the first 4 days of camp. Again, always a caveat, it's early, but I like the consistency that I've seen, and it definitely defeats the alternative. So I like to see that consistency in special teams continue more and more. Tempe has a really nice elevation. Camp Donizona even has a nicer elevation. So there's no reason whatsoever for those kicks and punts not to sail quite a bit through the thin air in the pines they're pacing. But I just think that you just want to see just the two deep form and not be the lesser of two evils, but just really see heated competition battles where the first teamer beats the second teamer by just this much. And I think that's been pretty much the trend the first 4 days of fall camp. But I think that overall, you just want to see the competition really enhance the overall talent of the team. I think ASU is on the right path of that. Again, Kenny now talks about the talent and the balance. He talks about the X factor, the cohesiveness, and I think those are all traits that are really going to pay off for ASU quite a bit. But again, overall, this coming week, we're going to learn a lot about this team, and I don't think a whole lot's going to change the second half of August.
We'll see if some of those balls go flying in the pine trees when we're up in Camp T. As always, you can keep it here to DevilsDigest.com, as well as Devils Digest on Twitter for all the latest updates from ASU Fall Camp and Camp T. I want to also give a shout out to our sponsor, Santan Ford and Hode. We also have a special program going on for our new subscribers right now.
Guys, really act quickly. Best subscription promo of the year, $30 does cover you for the next 12 months. So that's the rest of fall camp. Obviously, Camp Donizona, we're going to be there in a few days. The entire 2026 season. spring practice next week. If you want to think the next year, I'm sorry, if you want to think that ahead, obviously basketball, baseball, all that good stuff. Even some summer workouts in 2027. So $30 for 12 months. That's $246 a month, guys. That beats your local Starbucks coffee in the morning. So make sure you check us out. We got a lot of good premium content already on there, and a lot much more to come. Not only the rest of the month, but also the rest of the season and into 2027.
Lots to come on DevilsDigest.com. I'm Adam Beadle. That's Hope Rubino, and we will see everybody for week 2 of ASU Fall Camp next week.